Hello, Mike. Hello, Yannick.
Hey Caio, hey Mike.
Hi Yannick, hi Caio.
So, thank you for joining us today. And to start with, are you an iOS developer?
Yes, I'm an iOS developer, junior actually. Yeah.
For how long?
Um, I've started like part-time developing in 2019 in April, and that was while I was in university. Then I graduated in September the same year, and in November I got the full-time job at a media company, wrote radio apps and podcast apps, and I just switched jobs this year, like, at the start of the year, into another junior role.
Just started.
Yeah, beginning of January. Yeah.
Awesome. How can we help you?
So in the beginning of the year, you had this event with the students, and where we could ask also in the end questions to you. And you gave me some advice about over delivering in the workplace. And one of this was holding a presentation, and I held a presentation about unit, UI, and snapshot testing, compared all of those, like their advantages, disadvantages, and all. And the team lead saw the recording, liked it very much, and asked me to hold this in front of the whole company's iOS developers, which are like about 150, which is insane for me. Like, I wouldn't ever have expected this, right? And because you guys have a lot of experience with all those live coding sessions, I wanted to ask you guys, because I also do a live coding session. In the presentation I held for the small part, like my team, I did a small coding session where I showed how to unit test view controllers. And like basically you show in the course. And yeah, now that there are like higher stakes, I want to ask you for tips and all that stuff, you know? Yeah, basically that.
Awesome. Congratulations, first of
Thank
all.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you see, it works, right? Over delivery.
Absolutely, I'm completely sold, really.
And yeah, getting out of the comfort zone as well, which is
Oh,
fantastic.
absolutely.
Building new skills. So, what is
Yeah.
your biggest worry about this session, this live session?
Having a blackout, probably, like, you know, live coding and then completely having a blackout, missing something, being like unsure how to continue. Like, I have like employed a backup. Like, I have a Git commit history, which if anything goes wrong, I jump to it. But obviously, also for the flow of the thing, I want to completely avoid that.
Right. So, it's the old saying, plan for the worst, but hope for the best, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So you need to have some backups, as you said. I like to think about everything that can go wrong when I go live. I may forget the words. Then I'll have a script to help me get back on track, right? Write a script.
Yeah.
The internet may fail. It's going to do it remotely, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, then reconnect again, like not a problem. But don't use Wi-Fi.
Okay. Yeah.
Buy a cable, a reliable cable, and connect directly with the router. Wi-Fi
Yeah.
is too unstable for streaming.
All right.
Yeah. Use big fonts.
Big font.
True.
Really
Oh,
big
yeah. I forget
font.
that completely. Right. Good.
Yeah,
Good. We're talking
absolutely.
about this big font,
Yeah.
right?
Make sure you know also the lighting. Sorry, the lighting in the room, because you don't want the contrast, or rather, you don't want too much contrast in the whatever it is, the canvas or wall or screen, right?
Yeah.
If it's a screen, it's fine, but if it's a canvas, then I don't know, if you use a black background for Xcode, for example, might be not that easily readable. So anticipate that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
big font is like both code and slides if you have slides. And everywhere there is like text. It needs to be very readable.
Yeah.
And when we are nervous, we tend to speak very fast. Very, very, very fast. So breathe. Take your time. Like there's no problem if there's some empty space. Like now.
see.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then try to focus. You mentioned your presentation was about unit testing your controllers. Probably stick to that. You don't have to unit test everything, or
No.
so yeah. So just focus one thing that it's going to be very valuable for the teams there.
Yeah, the rules teach one concept only in the presentation, right?
Yeah. Half an hour is not enough to teach anything more. Like I wanted only to show 3 tests, like a button, a label, and how to manipulate this button with the label, and like how can we change that and introducing a service into that, and that's all. That's all I want to show. Like so people get the gist of it. So yeah.
Awesome. You could also do some comparison then. If you are comparing these to UI tests, you don't need to actually run the UI test, but you can get some numbers like, oh, it takes 1.2 seconds to run the UI test, but it takes 0.01 seconds to run the unit test. And then you can make some projections like, oh, imagine how long it would take if you have like 1,000 UI tests.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good. Yeah. Like probably a chart, like a quick chart I can
Yeah.
throw up on the screen. That would be nice. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, true.
And one of the rules is when you're going to present something or teach something is you tell them what you teach first. Then you teach them. And at the end, you tell them what you taught them.
So some kind of outro where I like recap of what has been. Okay.
Yeah,
outro.
I like that. Like the takeaway points. For example, you talk there, I don't know, 30 minutes or something like that. Just say, okay, this is what you learned here. This is why it's important. So maybe they didn't get exactly what you talked about, but they can get the takeaway point. And yeah, maybe it's going to ring something to them afterwards.
Yeah, true. That's true. Very good.
Do you have a script?
No, not yet. I'm when I made the presentation in front of my direct colleagues from my department, I just casually talked away because your course really prepared me very well, and I could like answer all the questions on the fly and like talk on the fly. But that also made me stumble. Like how would you say? Like when you stop a lot, like when you're looking for words and all that stuff. So I think a script is very important. Do you have any tips for writing the script? How does it look like, and what to mention in it? And that would be very interesting to me.
I mean, you need to rehearse, right? Rehearse a lot. As you're rehearsing, write down everything you would like to say. Like literally, like don't write it like it's a blog post or it's like a book. Write it like you would speak.
With your voice, yes.
With your voice. Write down your voice, your thoughts, right? And have it structured like a, how can I say that? Like a continuous conversation as you would present it, as you're rehearsing, write down your thoughts, exactly what you would say, and then you have everything you're going to say written down, and that's your script with your voice.
Good. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly how you would speak,
Yeah.
So if you get lost, you look at the script and you have exactly there what you need. And in the script, what you can do is to have some headlines, like some larger fonts when you're changing a section, right? So it's easier to find where you are in the script as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Keynote provides, the presenter notes as well. Like, I don't know what tools you're going to use.
Probably Keynote,
If you have slides, you can have that, and you can work on multiple screens if that's available, and that's extremely helpful as well. One other thing that I've seen in some live coding presentations, and like personally, I don't like it, but you might find it useful, is like creating code snippets. So instead of writing like a whole block of code, you type, I don't know, block 1, boom, that's the code there, and you explain the code. I think it's like much better to actually take the time and type the code and have like a continuous flow of things as you explain stuff, right? And the audience doesn't have to stop and read the whole thing. They can follow you as you go. But again, this needs a lot of rehearsal. So
yeah,
make
like
sure
with
you do that.
With the code snippets, might be like trying to rehearse it, like see how the time goes, and probably that's a point. I only use them when I want to save time. That would that maybe make sense? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're saying this from experience because we try using code snippets once or twice and didn't go well with the audience. They no, just type the code. We want to see it.
Yes, exactly.
So basically,
Yeah, I mean,
it's easier to follow when you not use them, like rather type it out, right? Like in the course.
Yeah, because like there's an empty screen. Suddenly there are 200 characters. Like, where should I look? Like, where
Exactly.
it's hard to follow as a viewer.
Yeah.
But if you have if you introduce structure in the whole presentation, and then for each segment of this presentation you introduce structure as well, then it's much easier for someone to follow you. Like, for example, maybe you can break down your tests, in a given when then,
that's good.
like a pattern, so they can follow that. If your audience, they don't even know about unit tests, or automated testing,
they don't.
right? So then perhaps structuring in such a way might be beneficial for them.
True.
Right.
Yeah, one thing I wanted also, like what I did in the presentation was like removing duplication, like the setup of the SUT and stuff. Like, so like showing them a lightweight version of the TDD cycle. Like, I left out the refactoring part because like the changes were so small, there were no refactoring, but like the duplication and the helper for, let's say, but that was what I was like doing still in the presentation, like extract a simulate tab helper, for example. So those were some things I've done in the presentation. Yeah.
Okay.
So that makes sense to still keep that. So probably I should, like, when they don't know unit testing, I probably should explain to them like the given when then, or like set up act assert stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the basics, right? The exit test framework, set up, tear down, things like that.
Okay, makes sense.
The anatomy of a test.
Yeah, I think also that might be important for like explaining what the difference between unit testing, because you want in UI testing, like every time the app is started again, and with unit testing, there's like the app is started once and all the tests run and that's ended, right? It's probably also something I should talk about. Yeah, right.
I'm a big fan of what Caio said there. Just a chart with the times.
Yeah, true. I probably should. Yeah,
just makes like this is 1,200 times faster. Maybe that's gonna convince you.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're gonna have time to actually show running the test.
True. Yeah, the presentation I held, I actually showed some running tests, like UI tests, but the presentation also took like 1 hour or a little bit more. So, I need now to shorten it to half an hour. So
half an hour.
Yeah, 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's very tight. It's like, maybe you should think about cutting some stuff down.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. I should.
Yeah, for example, we are already here almost 15 minutes talking.
Right.
That's why it's so important to focus, focus on one thing,
Yeah.
Like maybe, for example, maybe you can break your presentation in 2 parts, and the first part you gather everyone and you talk about them, this thing that is unit testing and how is it different from UI testing, what's the, I don't know, like some key metrics, and why would you use it instead, right? And then if this goes well, you can, for everyone who is interested, you can go to the second part and say, okay, this is how we do it now,
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah, but you have already a presentation, right? So you're gonna use the same, just.
Well, I presented it very casually. Like I had the code base going, had like the commits all, so I can jump between commits, and I haven't yet made the slides or something because that we have like a knowledge sharing event at work, like every Monday or Tuesday, and there people just casually introduce a topic, and I didn't even plan for it to go over an hour, and yeah.
So what is the topic you chose? Do you have a theme?
The topic really is like why we shouldn't use UI tests and instead use probably unit tests and like as a bonus snapshot test. Like snapshot tests are something that I might like only say, hey, there are also snapshot tests that complement the unit tests in comparison to the UI tests. But yeah, that's the topic.
Yeah, I think be careful saying why we shouldn't use UI tests, because there are cases where you should use UI tests, right? So it's like, why prefer unit tests maybe over UI tests? Because there are use cases for UI tests.
Yeah.
And you might get some objections from people in the crowd saying, like, no, why? There are cases for UI tests.
Okay, right. Yeah, you're right. I should be carefully with my wording there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Review the lectures about these testing strategies as well, or we have podcasts about them as well. Excuse me. You can learn more, about when to use one, when to use the other.
Yeah, probably especially when like questions come around, I should be able to answer them, because I think like the questions that came from the small crowd I present to were very basic, because within this team, it's the whole testing topic is very new. But who knows what questions come up from one of the 150 developers, right? There can come up anything. Yeah. So prepare for that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to know all the answers.
Yeah.
Like Mike and I, we don't have all the answers.
Just say I don't know.
Feels like it.
No, we don't.
Oh, we don't. It's definitely.
And you can tell them, like, if there's something you don't know, you can say, "Oh, I'll do some research, and I'll come back to you later."
Exactly.
No problem. You don't need to know everything.
Everything.
Yeah, true.
And record it, so you can share.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah.
Record it.
Yeah. This is part of the over-delivering philosophy, where you can record it and then you can put it online somewhere, your slides, the video, your code, anything, so people that missed it can watch it, or people who are interested, they can, review it again and rewatch perhaps, right? So
you can also share it on YouTube and start your own channel.
Yeah, if they allow you.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see if they do. That would be nice.
Oh, yeah, you need to ask permission. True.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. Yeah. Great. So that already helps a lot. Like a lot of points where I haven't thought about, and like talking about with you brought them to light. That's very good. One question, like I'm very nervous. I'm already now I'm already very nervous, like very like, how would you say, shivering? Mm-hmm. Any tactic that works for you, that brings down the nervosity?
Yes. One trick I learned from Simon Sinek is to kind of trick your brain. When you feel anxiety and you have these like reactions in your body, they're very similar with the same reactions you have when you're excited about something. Your blood pressure changes, start sweating. Like, so trick your brain that's saying like, no, I'm excited because I'm doing something, different, getting out of the comfort zone, and this is going to help others. It's going to help me, my career as well. So feel excitement, change that anxiety to excitement. Like you may feel like the first time I heard this is like, no, it will not work. Yeah. It does work, and it helps a lot. Now, when I feel that feeling coming, it's like, no, I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's the feeling.
All right.
And also like get in a good mood before it. Watch some stand-up comedy, listen to some songs you like, or just smile. Like every time when Mike and I do before we start the sessions, we smile, and then we start the live session, because just the act of smiling put you in a good mood.
Ah, right. I see. Cool.
Yeah. I like a quote. This is by Daniel Kahneman. He says, "Nothing is as important as you think it is while you're thinking about it." So
absolutely.
Yeah. So every time, like, I'm feeling anxious about, I don't know, giving a talk or something like that, I'm like, yeah, it just doesn't matter, probably you shouldn't, it's all up here,
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, even though I make some mistakes, nobody will call me out on it. Like nothing will happen, right?
Yeah.
True.
Good and also, you're going to have a bunch of probably steps you need to do before the session. Like, make sure your computer is on connected with the cable. Make sure Wi-Fi is off make a checklist.
Yeah.
Checklist, right.
Make a checklist of everything you need to do beforehand, like get into a good mood, smile, like put in the checklist, smile. Like before we start those sessions here, we have a checklist of many things we go over, like
Yes.
check the microphone, check the Wi-Fi is off, check the cable is working, check the lights are on, even check the lights are on, because we forget. If we don't put in the checklist, we forget.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And we start the session with the lights off. The wrong microphone. It happens. We get in the session with the wrong microphone.
Yeah. I see. So note down everything that has to be in order, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so then you don't feel that anxiety. Did I do everything? No, I did, because my checklist is all crossed.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, true. I see.
Otherwise, you're gonna start the session. Am I using the right microphone? Is the cable? No. Free your mind from these things with checklists.
That makes a lot of sense. True.
Yeah. Then you can give a talk about that. It's gonna be amazed.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I think that all of that helped me a lot. I wrote down everything I could that helps me. I appreciate the insight. I'll probably report back and tell you how it went. Maybe, I report back with the video on YouTube.
Yeah, hopefully.
Send it to the community.
Awesome.
That'll be awesome.
Right.
All right. So thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Take care.
Yeah. See you. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. Next. Hashem, hello.
Hi.
How
Thanks,
are you?
Hashem.
Thanks a lot, Caio and Mike, for creating this community and mentoring sessions.
Awesome. So, are you an iOS developer?
Mostly, yes. But nowadays, I have focused on Flutter.
Flutter, all right.
Flutter, okay.
How long have you been a developer?
I studied software engineering, and I can say 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah, after graduation. Yes.
Awesome. How can we help you?
So mainly, I have two questions, and the first one is how to grow our network, not just by following people on LinkedIn or Twitter. I mean, how can I have an interactive network, a network that I know the people inside to be able to work together and have friends? As you know, opportunities come by network. I've seen iOS developers that are now working in Tesla. It may seem irregular, unrelated, but they told me a friend was working there. They referred me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for a proper way. We have now in Slack, we have a good iOS developer community. So I'm looking for a way to use it in a proper way. Or any other idea that I can go out from being a solo developer.
Right. So yes, you're saying that the best opportunities you're gonna get come from recommendation, right? So one thing you can do, join some local communities. This is gonna be hard now because of COVID, right? But the idea is to join. If you join these communities, you need to help people in there. You need to give talks. You need to start building a reputation there. How? Helping others solve their problems. Now, during COVID times, you cannot do it locally, but you can do it remotely. Now, there are a lot of opportunities of conferences. They're running fully remotely on Zoom or whatever platform. And you can reach out to people. They have the same goals as you do. Can reach to people worldwide online, not just where you live.
As we are doing that right now.
Absolutely. That's it. Help others achieve their goals, and you achieve anything you want. You need to get into those communities with the mentality of, I'm here to help others.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? Because you give before you take.
Yeah. And like if there are no, you mentioned like the local communities, sure, it's hard with COVID. If there are none, it's a great opportunity to start one. So because most probably other people are going to have the same problems, so you can be the one that brings everyone together, and provide, as Caio said, like provide value to them.
For example, you are in the Slack community there with hundreds of developers. And let's say you could bring an opportunity for them to work in a project with you. And you start like this. You bring the opportunities.
Yeah.
And others will work with you.
Yeah.
Rather than expecting others to bring you opportunities.
Yeah. There's this element of proactivity required in those situations, for sure. Like take action, because it hasn't happened so far. So I don't know. It's quite probable that it's not going to happen in the future. So somehow you need to reshuffle, the deck, and as they say, and just go for it. Take action.
Okay. What is the proper environment that I can do? For example, if speaking in broad way, I should take actions. But in first step, for example, I should find someone on LinkedIn or find someone on Twitter or using our Slack channel. I mean, just make it a little granular, because
right.
Yeah.
But what is the goal of finding someone on LinkedIn or on Slack? What is the goal?
Yeah. So
you want to work with them? You want to learn with them?
Friendship or knowing each other comes when we work together. It means we know each other. So the right way is creating a sample project, having a basic idea of a project, and looking for a guy to join the team, to work together. Working together helps us to share the knowledge, to find our handwriting. I mean, the way we write code, because I assume we have the fundamental knowledge of software development. Then we can review our codes, give our suggestions, how to write proper way. Yeah, but I think I should do it. I should start instead of waiting for any other, the second guy, to look for me. I should do it.
Yes, that's sure. It. Because there are people in this community that they create study groups together and they start studying with a friend, a partner, and they become friends. There's a lot of people that they start those. They are proactive to go there and ask, anyone want to study together? Go through the first module of the program and discuss what you learned. Absolutely, create a study group. But if you cannot find one, you create one. That's how you use the community. You go there and you bring proactivity, you bring ideas. And if people like your ideas, they're going to do it. Just know that maybe they're not going to like your idea, but then you bring with another one and another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I got my answer. That's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And the second question is to achieve technical excellence, there are steps from beginner, intermediate to advanced. Okay, you mentioned fundamental principles in previous episodes. We should know it. So how can I be sure I have mastered them? How to measure my progress? Or, I mean, how should I know all of them? For the beginner side, as a book, assume it has 500 pages. So I know if I reached the last page, I'm sure I know the previous chapters I have learned. I can say I have done the exercises. So for being sure, I know the fundamentals, I know it, but maybe in practice, I don't know. Okay?
Right.
So how can I measure myself? How can I track my progress to that goal? If I'm writing an application, then I know, then I can divide my application to multiple segments or multiple modules. By completing each module, then I know I can track my progress. For this, I'm looking for an academic way, not just Googling each principle and reading multiple articles from Medium or other things. Yeah, they give me idea, but without any exercise.
Right. So I'm going to bring back the 3 ways of learning, the effective ways of learning. First, you learn the concepts, right? Conceptually, which is, you said, you read a book and you learn some new concepts. And then maybe in the course and the book, you're also going to get examples, right? Examples that you can look at it and say, I understand or don't understand what it means. But when you can apply, you're going to practice. And when you can apply at work those principles with confidence, then you know that you actually understood those concepts. But the ultimate way to know if you learn a concept is if you can teach someone else that concept.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Because you think you learn something, and then you try to explain to someone else, and and then they ask questions from a point of view that you never thought about, and you cannot give the answer. So, and then you realize, actually, I don't know it that well. You go back to the concept, because now the question this person asked you is a question that you cannot answer. Then you're going to go back to the concepts to reply to that question. And you're going to learn a little bit more. So teaching is a great way of learning as well.
Yeah.
The great thing is, by practicing and giving a basic project and asking for others to join my project, sample project, I can grow my network. So, yeah.
Yeah, do it together, of course.
Absolutely.
To be effective is to, as you said, like mix the things you want to achieve, your goals. So you don't need to do things separately. Oh, I need to allocate time to network. I need to allocate time to become better. No, mix them together. I'm going to network, become better, improve my skills at the same time. You can be much more efficient, and it can be much more fulfilling as well. Can enjoy more the journey.
I should start.
Yes, you should.
Absolutely.
You all the time say, okay, I start on Saturday, next week, next month. Yeah.
Start today. Why don't you send a message today in the Slack community?
Yeah.
When we finish here. Not now. As soon as we finish here, you send a message there.
Yeah. And my project, I have a project. Just I created a challenge for myself. But I'm working on Dart language. But the concepts, but the immutable topics can be moved to other languages.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the goal of learning these immutable laws of building good software, because you can apply it everywhere. Yeah. You are applying with Flutter, with Dart. There are students applying in Node.js in the backend and applying it with JavaScript in React Native and so on. They work. You can apply it anywhere. Makes sense?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome. So thank you for joining us, and we meet again soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And send the message in the Slack community.
Yeah.
Today.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Go for it.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.